Seoul, Korea, Free Cup Studio, live.
It's feeding time in the jungle. The cold streets, yeah, they come alive.
And we are back here at GSL vs. the World. It's time for the last best of 5 in the round of 8. And we only have one Korean player remaining in the tournament. What the hell is going on?
The last hope for GSL, tasteless, but it couldn't be in better hands. Classic is an absolute monster.
It's bizarre. It really is bizarre. If you would have told me we would have potentially one Korean to make it into the semifinal, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty European biased, okay? Artosis makes fun of me all the time, and that's all right. I deserve it. But this is actually ridiculous. Like, I did not expect this at all.
To be fair, right now we're looking at a half NA top 4, so
you're
this is true.
Not
This is
really
true.
mattering right now.
It's a WCS circuit, okay? That's what we represent. Yeah, that's what we stand for.
I'll tell you guys, it's funny because we did the first GSL versus the World. I mean, it was awesome, but there was always this thing in the back of my head where I said, yeah, it's too bad that all the world players get eliminated so fast. And then we had just last year, Serral winning. I thought, wow, what a story. But now I'm getting freaked out as a GSL caster. I'm like, all right, guys, one of you have to win, okay? Otherwise, why are we having this tournament if everybody's actually this good? Come on.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Korean qualifiers for WCS next year.
Yeah, no kidding. This is crazy stuff.
So
how many spots do we get?
I would say probably 2. That
2?
makes sense. Yeah, same as
but
Australia.
We need to rise NA to 3 spots, it seems, in my opinion. If you look at it.
Maybe NA get 5. Maybe Europe get 8. I don't know.
Yeah,
Massage those numbers. We'll get 4 fights, something fair.
Yeah. China needs another spot right now too. Time is really killing it.
Yeah, we need time and someone else at every event for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're almost ready to go here. Map 1 is going to start off on Acropolis. Any thoughts before we jump into this?
I think that this is going to be closer than people think. Special's TVP is really strong when you look at his previous results. You look at how he played against SOS or Stats or Showtime or whoever. He is strong.
All right, our game's ready. SpeCial vs. Classic starts now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight.
Round of 8. Match 4.
All right, another world player up here in the top left. The Mexican Terran, he is
Ocean Gaming. SpeCial.
World Juanito definitely on cloud 9 after his big victory over Raynor.
in the bottom right here. Second highest ranked Korean player, this Protoss monster. He is
Makers. Classic.
Yeah, he's getting the local support right now. I even feel like the Americans in the building start cheering for Classic. They're like, come on.
Come on.
Yeah, we have a lot of WCS events already. Montreal's coming up in a couple weeks. It'd be very cool to see at least one of these top Koreans to play against some of these other guys that we have in the semifinals and obviously potentially the final as well. Now, Maynard, if you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, be like, SpeCial against Classic, what do you think, Roddy? I'd be like, yeah, I mean, SpeCial's really good, guys, but Classic would absolutely annihilate him. Because I really think super highly of Classic. I've always done. I feel like sometimes Stats is the best Protoss in the world, and sometimes it's Classic. I really never have those two in any other order. I know from time to time there's some Protosses, you know, like even a Neeb and a Showtime, but of course there's Zaz, Patient, you know, all that kind of stuff. Hero. They have their moments. Trap, of course, is super good. But for me, it's always Classic and Stats. I think that those two can really reach a level that the others cannot. I must say, yesterday, I wasn't terribly impressed by Classic's games against Fantasy. I'm not saying that he took it like, that he went all out, you know, that he showed the back of his tongue. But I don't know, man. I think he's going to have to play better than he did yesterday if he wants to defeat SpeCial today.
Well, Fantasy did play very weird, and SpeCial's not really a weird TVP player. He likes to sort of play a little bit more standardized, but sometimes throws in the aggression, of course, you know, proxies and that sort of thing. He's no stranger to that. Obviously, you know, I agree with you, Roddy. Classic is, in my mind, heavily favored in this match, but it feels like here at the GSL vs. the World, that hasn't mattered much.
Nope. I mean, we think back of the Global Finals 2018. And, you know, if you think back of it, I remember the first few days, we all kind of looked at each other as commentators and be like, you know, these games haven't been very good, guys. And, you know, that's okay because that happens, right? Like, I'm a big football fan or Formula 1. Some races suck. some football games suck, and sometimes some games of StarCraft do suck. That's just the way it is. But then I really feel that the last game of the group stage of the global finals saved it all, and that actually was SpeCial versus Classic. That really got all of us going. The excitement suddenly was there again. The energy was there. It'd be like, oh my goodness, these games were sick. They were close, back and forth. And I hope we get some of that today. But I must say, this tournament, I don't have much to complain about so far, Maynard. I mean, other than maybe Maru not playing as well as I would have liked, but I feel like we have seen a lot of good StarCraft already.
Yeah, it would have been awesome to see a couple more Korean Terrans up there, but of course, if one of those Korean Terrans did better, we wouldn't have Serral up here either, so no complaints. Oh, nice adept here from Classic. Getting a good scout off. It's not going to find too much more damage, maybe one more SCV. It doesn't look like that's going to even be the case here.
Didn't it already get 2, or am I crazy? I thought it got 2.
I actually don't think it's gotten... I think it's gotten 1. I don't think it got 2.
I mean, it didn't show the little pop-up, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly, yeah. So if it is 2, then we would have had that little pop-up.
Yeah, but sometimes they suddenly forgot to host with game art, and then there's like, I'm pretty sure that Oracle just killed 7, and it still didn't pop up, you know? But, I mean, not the end of the world there, of course, for SpeCial, but kind of annoying, but he did pick up an adept. But I think if you are Classic and you're playing the way that he does, which is going into those Blink Stalkers, and most likely is just going to spam an insane amount of gateway units, that adept is really not that important. That adept is there to scout, it's there for safety, it's for information, and after that be like, who cares about a single adept without resonating glaives? It's all about the Blink Stalkers.
Blink Stalkers is pretty much the bread and butter for the early game for Protoss. Very, very good against Liberator Harassment, Banshees, dropships, everything. So most Protosses will do that. This is a pretty interesting build from SpeCial. It looked like a, potentially a Widowmine drop, but with that Tech Lab spinning, which Classic sees, by the way, thanks to Lucene and Phoenix, he sees that it's something a little bit different. Tank production with Cloak Banshees from SpeCial. Sometimes this can lead into a 2-base attack from Terran. I've seen that happen quite a bit. But, you could just do harassment damage and then go out of it. Classic gets double Forge after scouting this?
Yeah, I actually find that pretty crazy, man. He gets double Forge. His economy is ridiculous. He was up like 12 workers. He still weighs his Cloak 3 base. Because what I think is going to happen, right, is that SpeCial is going to use his Cloak Banshees to keep these Stalkers at home. The Stalkers can be out, picking off units one by one. The Banshees will be there, so the Stalkers are going to protect the mineral lines, but that allows the army of SpeCial to go to the other side of the map. And if these tanks siege up and charge isn't done yet, that's going to be very hard to deal with. I am actually shocked that he just dropped double Forge there. It's like, I mean, it's a big map, and hey, maybe he gets away with it and we will look silly, but it feels really risky, because when I go up against Banshees here, like, I know what the idea is, right? Like, they want to keep my Stalkers at home, and then they want to run to the other side of the map.
This map can be a little bit tough for Terran sometimes. You have some limited push options for the third base, and you have to go up a ramp if you want to come in from the, the sort of the wider area. But this Banshee just waiting for Cloak here, not really diving. I mean, Classic already has an Observer in position anyway. He's got some Stalkers going through the middle of the map here, as you generally do, trying to catch whatever might be coming across the map, whether it be, a medevac or a Liberator, just a handful of units, maybe get a tank that's being pushed across the map, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So at the moment, SpeCial just really chilling. Here we go. There's the push that we were looking for.
Yeah, but this is the cool thing right now. The Stalkers want to go out, because the Stalkers are like, hey, we're going to buy some time for the other units. But that's when these Banshees show up. I like the strategy here from SpeCial, but let's see how good the execution is. Well, there's an Observer. It's going to hurt, man.
Tank getting low there. Does finish it off, thankfully. Bunch of probes going down into this Banshee. Oh, the main base as well. There's a shield battery, but it looks like he's out of range of some of the probes on the left side of this mineral line.
Yeah, that would have been probably the better target, but he's just going for the whole position. This is a lot of economic damage already, and that army is still making its way to the other side of the map. Classic clearly prioritized dealing with the army rather than preventing these Banshees from dealing economic damage.
You got rid of one of the Banshees there, but that's just half the equation. The one in the main, oh, there we go. All right, equation fulfilled. Both Banshees dealt with. The ground army here with those Marines. They don't have stim, but they do have combat shield, and they still have tank and SCV purport. Another one coming in here from the side. Classic does have a good number of Stalkers, but he really wants some charge lots in here as well.
More potential in the main base. That shield battery is very low on energy already, so this Banshee is actually going to be super annoying. The tank count still looking all right, and that's a big shot. Gonna get another one. Actually, lost high ground vision there for a second. On siege. And now more Zealots coming in.
Here we go.
Yeah, that's not a fight. That SpeCial is gonna win, obviously. But the most important thing is how much damage can he do before all of these units go down.
Banshee trying to escape here. She's out of juice. Does get picked off that last shot for the Stalkers. Good pick off there for Classic. Both players taking a fair bit of damage here. Yeah. Classic left over with quite a big army, and SpeCial needs to get back to the natural and try and hold on.
Yeah, if Classic wouldn't attack it, this game is actually really good for SpeCial, but Classic ain't crazy. He'd be like, yeah, you just threw away so freaking much just to kill some of my probes, all right? Let's see how much you have at home. I would love to see a full wall off right here by SpeCial. It's very important. I know he was getting a bunker, but he needs more than just a bunker. I like the Banshee again, but SpeCial, be careful because you don't have a lot at home, and I think Classic is out for blood.
Oh, certainly. Another Banshee getting shut down there for 2 probes. Not a good trade for SpeCial. He doesn't have a ton of money to work with at the moment anyway. Does have a bunker back at home. It's not a complete wall, though. Getting the Observer is nice, leaving Classic in the dark a little bit. Okay, the wall is starting to happen here for SpeCial. He has kind of a funnel for those charge lots to come into like a wall of marine death. But the upgrades for Classic just look so nice. Got 2-2 on the way here. They're a third of the way done. 1-1 being done on the gateway units for a while.
Stim is still not done, don't forget about that. But it seems like Classic is a tiny bit hesitant to go for it. I mean, there is a good chance. Oh no, SpeCial. You don't want to be doing that yet. I do like that he's protecting this bunker more and more now with the extra depot, so he's sort of getting that wall off that I was talking about. And Classic actually kept a couple of units at home. That is a feisty looking prism, by the way. Like, for some reason it looks really different in these colors. Looks cool. What's that Immortal doing over there, man?
Well, obviously it's waiting for an SCV transfer, Rotterdam, so they can kill an SCV.
Uh-oh.
Deliberate place here for Classic. Oh man, those charge lots getting right on top of that tank. SpeCial just seemed completely unprepared for this.
This orbital's gonna go down, I think. I mean, the Stalkers can blink forward one more time. That's exactly what happened.
SCV's trying to repair, but not enough heals. The Stalkers take it down. Ooh, that sucks for SpeCial. He's in a really bad spot here now.
Yep, that economic advantage that we were talking about is gone. And if you guys wonder, it's like, wow, he's still got 62 workers. Isn't that good? It's like, yeah, heavy oversaturation.
I think we're going to have a maybe a couple ghosts and a boys pool here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think you can rebuild the orbital here. That was really cool by Classic though, right? Because I feel like so many Protoss players would have just gone for the kill there because his army was bigger and I think there was potential for it. But he's like, no, I'll play it safe. Even wiped in a couple Stalkers at home to deal with the Banshee. And right when SpeCial's like, well, you know, I think I'm fine. Let's just go ahead and expand. Like, this is turning into a normal game. Bam, that entire army shows up. Orbital goes down, and now suddenly it really feels that SpeCial is running out of options. A 4th base, Maynard?
Classic. Normally more money, more problems, but Classic's been putting on a bit of a clinic here for the early stages of PvT.
A lot of the Korean Protestants have truly fallen in love with this heavy Zealot low gas style, right? I mean, they do get Storm eventually, but it's a lot of gateway units, Manny.
Certainly is. Got tons of production. Splash damage on the way for Classic. It doesn't look like it's going to be here in time.
That's
There's that
lot
void
of boys, by the way.
So I thought, when I saw that Ghost Academy, I'm like, all right, EMPs, couple of Ghosts, and a bunch of SCVs. Let's bring the boys around for a party and try and kill this Protoss. Can he do it, though? Classic losing a few of these Stalkers.
Yeah, but he's getting Widow Mines. That's very nice, because the Widow Mines is the best thing that SpeCial has, I think, against all the Zealot. And the Zealot count is high. There are high Templars as well, but Storm ain't done yet. So that's going to be rather awkward.
Pretty decent Widow Mine connection there. The SCV is trying to bleed through these force fields to offer some buffer between the Zealots and the Bio. Reinforcements from Classic. Oh, his upgrades are so good. Storm, a little bit close to done here, but not quite. Gets an EMP on some of those Protoss units, getting the Sentry energy away from the battle as well.
20 supply down, 2 upgrades down, and Storm on the way. I believe in miracles, Maynard, but I don't think I believe in this one for the Terran, even though SpeCial is getting a base, and it looks nice, but Classic ain't crazy. He knows he's up a base. He knows he's being all in. All he needs to do is just wait a little bit longer and land the juicy Storm or 2, and he's going to be more than fine.
Oh, there we are, safely in this Prism. The Prism gets EMP'd, so loses a few hit points there. And the Ghost, that's what they exist for. Here, getting rid of those shields, trying to get rid of the High Templar. There's the Storms going down! Classic just has so many units left over. This is an A-move victory right here.
Yeah, this is where you can actually walk to the fridge and grab yourself a good old hot 6 or something.
Classic's already at Starbucks getting his iced Americano. See you for game 2.
He's like, can I get a blueberry muffin as well? He's like, geez, Louise, is Darren is still in the game? Like,
Classic's like, it's fine. I know it's expensive, but I'm about to win a tournament, so. GG. Classic getting game number 1 there. Very, very nice victory against SpeCial. We were talking, especially you were going, oh, this is risky, this is greedy, this is greedy. Yeah. But SpeCial, apart from the early game Banshees, really didn't get to punish it. He just kept him contained a little bit too long.
What I thought was really cool is where his priority lay, right? Like, normally I'd be like, you don't want to lose probes. The most important thing is your economy. Defend the Banshee on the right top side, defend the Banshee in your main. He's like, no, my main priority right now is chipping away at that army. And like, yeah, I'm losing probes, but I'm so far ahead anyway that doesn't matter. And then in the end, when he finally really took the fight against that army, the army of SpeCial wasn't much anymore. Then I still think it wasn't that bad for SpeCial. It wasn't great, of course, because he was kind of contained, right? I think it was playable, but obviously not being aware of where that army was off Classic and how high the Stalker count was there. The moment SpeCial lost the orbital, the game was truly over. I think up to that point, it was actually a pretty even and fair, fun game.
All right, well, we are just about ready for map number 2. Classic is back from Starbucks. He's got his coffee. He's got his muffin finished as well. He's pleased to see the victory screen as he returned to his PC as well. Charles and Sorkers definitely did their job there. The 2-2 upgrades. And new Repugnancy. This is a pretty solid map for Terran against Protoss. So this is normally the first veto for Protoss in this matchup.
Yeah, that actually happened multiple times in this tournament. I always actually like standing next to the pro gamers when they're doing their vetoes, and this map indeed got vetoed a lot. Anyway, let's get ready for game 2. To be special and classic.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's up right here. Currently down the series, but looking to fight back. In the blue, he is
Ocean Gaming. Special.
As he said in his interview from the round of 8 that he is, or rather for the round 16, that he is good friends with Classic, but not able to get a point on the board just yet. In the bottom left here, currently up in the series, in the red, the Protoss player, he is
Makers. Classic.
The last Korean in this tournament, believe it or not. Not something that any of us thought we'd be saying before the grand finals, maybe.
It's like Bizarro world. We're in upside down land here.
Yeah,
it's normally where I come from, where everything's upside down. But this tournament.
So maybe in Australia right now, the
in
Koreans are
Australia,
winning.
there are 3 Koreans and one foreigner. Yeah.
All right, so SpeCial's building his barracks in a feisty location in the corner of his main base. Now, what he's trying to do here is just kind of scare Classic. Let's see if Classic is going to take a look at the main base all the way or not. Because obviously if you're Classic right now, you'd be like, whoa, I'm getting proxied. Like, how committed is it? Is he building a bunker in my natural? If you don't see that barracks, if you do spot the barracks, this is actually a very nice scenario because then you can just go for the 1-gate fast expand. And this is adorable. The entire family.
The Stemkoskis, they're all here.
We've been actually watching that and like we're barely looking at the opening. We see kids running around. One is like rolling down the stairs over here in the Hall of Fame, but everybody's safe, guys.
Yeah, very wholesome here. So SpeCial is going for that factory wall off, and this still kind of looks like a proxy to Classic. You know, he sees the factory going down 100 gas. He's like, all right, there's a Reaper proxy on the way here, but it is the fake version here for SpeCial. The whole idea is to try and force out a Zealot from the Protoss that he doesn't need.
Yep, and delayed at Nexus.
Yep.
Which was not necessary. Like Classic could have just gone for the 1-gate fast expand. If he really wanted to play it safe, he could have gone core before Nexus. But Classic is actually delaying his Nexus a lot. He's truly respecting this potential cheese of SpeCial. But as you guys can see at home, none of that is happening. So I'm actually surprised how much Classic is respecting this. I mean, I'm a crazy boy, man. I scout all of this and be like, 1-gate fast expand, here I am. Bring it on, you know. Show me what you got.
Yeah.
But no, he's very worried.
I do so enjoy watching your ladder games, Roddy. It's a great time. Just a tumbler of whiskey, you and your stream.
That's true. I mean, I'm often having one too, mate. That explains the performance. All right, well, Classic is gonna scout, and I think now at this point he has obviously put 2 and 2 together. And the only thing you can say is that he still obviously was, well, yeah, that goes down, that he was building pros, and he's going for the Phoenixes again, just like we saw he did yesterday against Fantasy on this map. Classic, a boy to my heart, likes his Phoenix.
Yeah, and they're quite powerful in those stages of the game here. Get a couple of them, they can start to really hammer those SCV lines. Any factory unit that cops out, also easy to shut those down as well.
Since one Adept went down already, do you think there is a tiny bit of potential here for SpeCial?
If he can get into the main mineral line, sure. One Adept is, you know, the 2 Reapers can dance around it, but I mean, the get out of jail card here for Classic, if he needs to, is of course the Phoenixes now that there's 2 of them, but you really don't want to waste that Phoenix energy just yet, as you know.
Economically, this is so good for SpeCial, guys. I mean, normally Terran is like 7-8 workers behind by now. They're actually dead even. That Nexus ain't even done yet. Classic truly respected this a lot, was obviously very worried and concerned. I don't know, might be feeling a little bit of the extra pressure. I mean, being the last Korean left in a tournament in South Korea, I can definitely imagine that it brings some extra pressure to your shoulders. And he's played very worried, very safe. And obviously he did a good job there picking up 2 of these units. I mean, I like my Phoenix. I think as long as Steam is not done, there is a lot of potential for these Phoenixes. Because there's nothing really out on the map right now that's good against Phoenix, besides maybe this one Widowmine. But the Widowmine doesn't even one-shot a Phoenix. One-shots Oracles, but does not one-shot a Phoenix.
Yeah, just heavily damages them in the red. So usually one will take the brunt and the rest will be fine. And it looks like the Phoenixes are going to eat a Widowmine here, but as we can see, they are still alive, and they're going to get a couple SCVs before they leave. Good control from Classic so far. Oh,
my goodness.
Damn. Flirting with the devil there.
I mean, that's a lot of damage. That wasn't that pretty, but in the end, he does get out. That Liberator could, like, one-shot 2
yes,
Phoenix.
he actually could.
Just fight. I mean, I know that normally you don't ever want to fight Phoenixes with your Liberator, but I really think that 2 shots there would have been enough. Maybe even 1 shot to get a double kill, and that would have been sick. 2 extra barracks.
Okay. Lots of production coming down here for SpeCial. Starport also getting its tech lab add-on as well to switch around with the barracks so we can start getting those bio upgrades.
What do you think you do with this Liberator now, right? It's like,
Well, he's being a little bit indecisive with it. He like sent one to the north side, then he sent it down to the south. Classic sharking around with the Phoenixes here. Cyclone going to get some damage there on that Phoenix, but it gets lifted.
Yeah, I like the lift on the Cyclone. In the end, 1 Phoenix does go down, but I still like the idea of trying to save that 1 Phoenix. Now, there is still that that Widow Mine, I guess. So what he could maybe do, if all the units are out of position, shade 2 adapts in the mineral line, let one of them splash over the SCVs by that Widow Mine fire, and then the second one can grab a couple of kills. We do know there's a Robo Bay on the way as well, so Colossus is obviously most likely going to be the attack of choice. Economically, this is still all good for SpeCial. The only thing that I'm a bit worried about is that I feel SpeCial in general is a Terran that has the attack syndrome. He likes to attack, likes to always be active. And I feel against this style, you just don't really want to do that.
Oh, nice Liberator here.
Yeah. Obviously, while I say that, he gets a Liberator in the main base and does a lot of damage. But normally, this is not the kind of stuff you want to do.
So the Phoenixes will get rid of that Liberator. Probably no more probe kills here for SpeCial, but very good stuff. Gets the Phoenixes onto the other side of the map, which means that now SpeCial has a bit of breathing room as well. Doesn't have to worry about chasing them down. Getting one of these adept kills is also nice, but of course, Classic is about to have those Colossi, which are good against pretty much everything SpeCial has right now, including the Cyclone. He doesn't really have an anti-Colossus countermeasure just yet.
No, I mean, the Marauders can be very good, of course, if they have... if they have an upgrade advantage. Maybe the Marines can save it. Is there stim? No, there's no stim yet, so they can save it. Cyclone is going to push out some more damage. I mean, you're spot on. It's really funny how Marauders work against Colossus, right? Because it really depends what else is there out there from the Protoss side to protect the Colossus. How high is the Immortal count? Do we have Guardian Shield, Force Fields? But Colossus are pretty bad against Marauders, and if the Marauders get in range of these Colossi, they can actually fall very quickly. So
they certainly can, which is usually why Protosses have like a meat shield of charge lots in front of them to make sure the bio stays out of range of these Colossi and they can micro them back. It's just a single forge here at the moment from Classic, and he's getting attack upgrades rather than armor, so looks like he's probably going to complement this with maybe a few more Adepts or Stalkers instead. Yeah.
If you open up Stargate, and he made quite a few Phoenixes, right? I think 4 in total. It's a bit unlikely that you can expect him to like also have charge here, right? Like, it's going to take a little while. You kind of want to get a 3-base economy going for that kind of stuff. I mean, it's definitely not a bad game for SpeCial. There is potential. The one thing is, though, that like these fights against the Colossus, you have to be very careful, because if the force fields do land behind your little bio army and you're stuck, I mean, everything can disappear very quickly. We see a few more probes going down. I have no idea what happened there, but overall, I mean, I'd say that this feels like a pretty good game for SpeCial, right? He's definitely in a very playable position, and I'd even say he's winning at this point.
Yeah, actually, I'm with you there. You know, his third's been on location for a little bit longer as well. You know, economically a lot better for the Terran than you would expect at this point, considering that, you know, Classic hasn't really been on his side of the map too much, you know, apart from the Phoenixes in the early stages of the game. SpeCial found a little bit of damage with that dropship of Marines. The medevac is dead, but the Marines still stand, and there's that charge for Classic. And SpeCial already has +1 attack on these bio units, so they are hitting a little bit hard. The DPS isn't too bad, and charge is quite away from being done.
Yeah, this doesn't really look like that much, even though SpeCial is moving out right now with something that's not his entire army. You want to be very careful. There are those force fields. That's 4 force fields for not that many bio units, though. Phoenix is going to be annoying. They're going to lift 1 Marauder and maybe 1 more there, but look at SpeCial. He's getting factory number 2 and 3. Probably going for that heavy tank style, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's been something that a lot of Terrans have been loving lately. Tons of tanks, definitely a good response to the Stalkers and Colossus specifically. Very, very good against that. He's been making Liberators 2x2, and he's going to siege up the natural and the main here. That's a weird liberation zone there from SpeCial. Doesn't get anything done there. The third one, though, catches a few transferred probes, waiting for that next to finish.
I actually thought I was going to do a little more. Well done there. Good defense by Classic. I don't know. Overall, I still feel like this is... Maybe this one's going to hurt. I guess he can recall again, right? It's been a while since he recalled. And I think that you probably want to recall against his double drop.
It's got no energy.
Oh, that's going to hurt a lot then, man. Now, that's quite a few probes going down already. The entire army is quite far out of position. He's going to settle for the Robo special that is, and he's going to get an easy pickup on the Robo. Maybe even the Forge as well.
Oh, that would be nice. SpeCial really respecting the Colossi, though. He's dancing out of those laser beams. All right, it gets up in the medevacs. It gets out of there with 13 probe kills, a little bit of tech kill as well. Got that robotics facility and just pieces on out. Great stuff from the Terran.
He's so far ahead right now. Special is actually playing a really good game. I think Classic is playing an odd game. To me, this feels a bit indecisive, right? Like, I don't really see the game plan from the beginning to
just
the
like
end.
a little bit of this, a little bit of that, you know.
I feel like he's been afraid of everything, but we often say in StarCraft, if you are worried about everything, there's always going to be something that's going to be very good against the way that you're technically playing. And to me, it just all feels a little bit off here, what Classic is doing. Special's not there yet, but he really has a massive opportunity, I think, a new Repugnancy to tie up the score.
He has, you know, we saw those triple factories for Special, but we haven't seen that much siege tank production. It's been primarily bio there from Special, the Marines, the Marauders, and also, of course, you know, replenishing the medevacs he's been losing. A couple nice catches there from Classic getting those medevacs. Special's army moving around to the north side here, while that Liberator gets on top of the Natural again. What does Special's push look like? Does he have that many tanks in it?
But this is so funny,
Nothing.
right? Because does Special even need to push here? Like, he really doesn't. He has a bigger army, and he's way up in... well, yes, economically he's way up. He's going to be able to get this Nexus, but I'd be like, play it safe, Special. He left a lot of his tanks behind, but the bio isn't here, though, Maynard.
Yeah, tanks on their own are not too effective, so the SCV's been pulled to be that meat shield here, so the tanks can get those shots off. The Zealots are getting on top of them, though. Zealots very, very nice against unprotected tanks. Special taking a ton of damage from this attack from Classic. Classic's lost his third. Special's getting the main and also the Natural. All those probes are about to evaporate.
Oh my god, that's so many workers going down incredibly quickly. Obviously, there's a lot of SCVs going down as well. Special just kind of needs to hang in there. Like 1 or 2 tanks. Yeah, that one tank there on the top side of our screen, that is a massive tank, but I mean, this would have never happened if Special had his bio units at home. I still think Special's going to be all right. He's got way more units. He still technically has a few more workers. He obviously has the ability to lift up his buildings, and Classic really doesn't have a lot to work with, but I don't know, Maynard. I'm like always a tiny bit worried because now suddenly we don't have tanks anymore. I mean, the Marauder count should be enough. I think if I'm Classic, by the way, I'd prioritize killing the Stargate here, or the Starport, rather.
Yeah, well, the 2 Vikings are about to pop out, which are actually a really big pain in the side for him if they pop out, because they could dance around that Archon and start to really kite those Colossi to Prism as well. All of those things really need to survive here for Classic to have any hope in this game. Meanwhile, the infrastructure of the Protoss getting slowly put apart here by the Terran. That Prism targeted down by those Vikings, going to go down.
Yep, that's why those Vikings are so important, like you said as well. And that's a lot of micro potential. That's actually... Like, it's always a big pickup, right? We always talk about how important it is to kill a War Prism, but in this scenario, it's extra important, because obviously Special's army is way bigger right now than what Classic has left. But we also know, we saw it earlier today, a War Prism and a Dream, a lot of things are possible. So sniping that Prism is almost guaranteeing victory here, because I don't know how Classic is supposed to overcome like a 40 supply deficit.
Yeah, he can't juggle these Archons, can't juggle the Colossi to keep them alive. And Special is up 40 army supply here. The Vikings also on top of the Colossus, one of them very, very low. Oh, he gets it as well. The Vikings coming back for the attack as well. Oh, this is devastating for Classic.
Yep, he's losing a lot of units that he can't rebuild anymore. Both Colossi went down. I think Special can just show up here with his massive Bioforce and tie up the series, Maynard.
This is it. This is just way too much here mathematically for the Terran. There it is, GG. Special tying it up, 1 apiece.
Well done there. Good game by Special, but I must say that felt a bit off to me by Classic, right? I definitely think Special played solid.
It was an odd game.
I like his strategy, and he tried to trick his opponent, and that's what StarCraft 2 is all about. You want to keep your opponent in the dark. You want to pull up, or you want to throw a curveball once in a blue moon. This really worked. But, you know, to be a little bit more critical and rather than just focusing on like, wow, Special, that was fantastic. That was an odd game by Classic. It didn't make a lot of sense. He was very indecisive. It was a little bit of everything, but no real commitment. Even the Phoenix movement wasn't that perfect. The defense against the Liberators wasn't that perfect. His economy was bad without even losing probes. It just didn't feel right.
Well, let's see if we can get the right game happening here for map number 3. It's going to be on Thunderbird. Generally very easy to get up into 3 Nexus, double forge sort of style. You know, pretty strong on this one, but the Terran does have trick up their sleeves here and there.
Lost against Fantasy yesterday on Thunderbird.
He did. Certainly did. It's a weird one, but let's get into it, guys. Special versus Classic, Game 3.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In the bottom right here with a beautiful game on New Repugnancy. The Mexican Terran, he is
Ocean Gaming, Special.
starting to win over a bit more of the crowd. As Korean fans, no doubt, putting in their hopes and dreams for this guy in the top left in the red. He is
Makers Classic.
Our last Korean in this tournament. This morning I had a little chat with Fear Dragon, who's here as well as a spectator. He's been having a lot of fun.
Talk to
watching
me
these
about
games.
what Fear Dragon had to say right now.
Well, I mean, obviously it was all about Neeb, right? Neeb,
Obviously.
Neeb. But at one point he's like, how likely do you think it is that all 3 Koreans lose today? And at first I said I was like, there is a chance, but I don't find it very likely. I say probably 1 out of 100. Then I thought about it a little bit more. I'd be like, well, I was like, if we do today 50 times, I can see one day where we lose all 3 Koreans. So it's be like 1 out of 50. It's starting to become a real possibility over here, Maynard. I mean, obviously Neeb getting that big, massive victory over Stats, Serral being Serral. Now even SpeCial, in the first 2 games, I'd be like, he absolutely has a very good shot. And if Classic shows more of what he just did on the Repugnancy, I might even favor SpeCial here.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what the strategies from both players are going to be here for the 3rd game, see who takes the map advantage in this best of 5.
Does Juanito like mech against Protoss? I don't recall too many games of him doing that, right?
I mean, there was a period where TY and SpeCial did like to do it, specifically the battle mech style. I feel like it was more, you'd see it more on Acropolis and that sort of thing. Thunderbird can be a nice mech map, but against Protoss, seems a little iffy.
I think if you do want to do it against Protoss, this is probably the map for it.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see if SpeCial feels like doing the same thing as Fancy did yesterday. Now, obviously, it could mean that Classic has already learned from that, but I always think it's a bit tricky even on a map like Thunderbird. If you do go up against Mech and you open up with a Blink Stalker, double forge style, a lot of Protoss players absolutely love it. They'll be like, no, that's fine. Just blink around, and you get a warp person, you weapon some cells, you just A-move them, and it's all good. But as I also know, there's a couple of Protoss players that really don't like those scenarios. Be like, Mech's so annoying, you just sit there and then you take that fight and you think it's gonna be okay, then suddenly 17 tanks show up. It's like, oh no, I lost. And then it's like I really want to get disruptors or carriers, but now I feel like I don't have enough time, so I'm forced to build more Immortals. I do think if you want to do it, that this is probably the map for it, but we'll see.
That was weird. The Reaper got to go down the ledge, but can go up it there to the main base of the pylon of Classic.
Yeah, that made it to the other side of the map once again. But not in time to deny this command center from finishing up. Twilight Council most likely just going to be Blink, Zealot, double forge here, right?
Anything other than Blink is honestly not standard at the start of the game here for the Protoss. There it is. And everything from SpeCial looks pretty normal as well. It's a standard 1-1-1 opening with a couple Widow Mines to keep safe against the early game gateway stuff. As the Reaper goes for a poke and the Natural sees a couple Stalkers just waiting for him. Very standard stuff from both players so far.
Yep. We, of course, had a cool TVP yesterday between Hero Marine and Trap on this map as well. And, in the end, Trap won that game somewhat convincingly right after he defended. But it was actually such a key clutch moment right here on this ramp where basically Classic is right now as well. Where, indeed, there was a Raven, as we see SpeCial building the Raven as well. And Hero Marine sent the Raven forward. And Dan mentioned it as well. He's trying to use the interference matrix on the sentries. And it's one of those things where if it doesn't work, it looks really silly, right? Raven flies forward, gets sniped by Stalkers, like, oh my god, that's a big loss. Yeah, of course. But if he lands those interference matrices, his bio army was way stronger than the Blink Stalker army at that phase in the game. You can actually just stim up the ramp and win. And it's really funny how StarCraft 2 works, right? Because now in the end, you look back at that game and be like, well, Trap kind of owned Hero Marine and Thunderbird. But that was an 0.2 second kind of thing. Or Hero Marine actually could have won the game right there and then. And we'll see if SpeCial is going to try to do something similar here.
By units definitely cut through Stalkers pretty quickly if they're all on their own.
Yeah, there were Marauders in the mix, and there wasn't Zealot yet out with charge, so.
That's right. Marauders, the bread and butter. So we do see, with that Raven opening, a little bit different here for SpeCial. The Raven has tons of utility for Terran here, and it's even quite nice in the early stage of the game when a lot of Protoss like to open with Robo, and you can just get an Observer without scanning, which is always pretty nice as well. If you're really, really lucky, of course, Classic is a very, very good player, so it's unlikely. Sees that Widow Mine as well, and the Stalkers do outrange it.
Yep, that's going to be the first easy pickoff for this nice group of Stalkers. I'm always surprised by the amount of Stalkers that these guys build as well. I always feel like this, I'm going to get 5 to 6 Stalkers just for defensively. Whoa, he's going to blink into the main base. No stim is not done yet. That Raven is obviously a juicy target, but this is kind of awkward. These Stalkers are getting pushed into the corner. One of them did go down, but they do get a Marauder. I mean, these guys are fearless, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, it's just decisive, and that's it's similar to, game 1, but Classic was a little indecisive in New Repugnancy, and to make decisions like this, whether it be the right one or the wrong one. The important decision, the important thing is that you make it, right? You got to do something. And this time he is finding damage. Nice blink micro here from Classic.
Yeah,
that Observer really being effective. Ooh, loses one there in the end.
They just know the timing so well. Classic knows that this is a fight he can always take. As long as Stim is not done, the Medivacs are not out yet, it's all good. These Stalkers are going to regenerate their shields. You can always save them with Blink, and there isn't that much SpeCial can do. And SpeCial is obviously gearing up for like a massive push, right? He wants to get all those bio units out. So every single time you lose like a Marine, a Marauder, the eventual move out that you're waiting for until Stim is finally done suddenly becomes very underwhelming.
Raven coming in here towards the third base, some auto turret harassment. So the Raven not really going to be used too much on the home. Oh, Classic already has a Stalker waiting for it though. Great map awareness from Classic.
Yep, he's getting 2 more Stalkers as well. You got to be careful there if you're SpeCial, and SpeCial is going to be careful. He's adding more Widowmines. I do always like that. I do believe that if you can get like a Widowmine count from like, you know, basically 6 to 8, it can be very good against Protoss players that like to build a lot of Zealots. Because those are really fights where it's like, it's not going to be a trade anymore. It's only like a lot of Zealots can pop at once. And then if Protoss ever runs away, it's really painful because they don't get the Widowmines and they lose even more Zealots in the process because they get slowed by percussive shells and they've obviously already used charge and stuff. So I kind of like it. We're going to see a Widowmine drop as well, Maney.
Yeah, good probe split from Classic so far, so not really finding too much damage. The Medevac not really sticking around to save them either. Just flying out to the top of the map here to try and escape.
I love how the Observer's like, Widowmine drop, cool, but empty Medevac,
yeah,
way cooler.
You better pay attention. It's Medevac. It's a big deal. We got ourselves a little bit of a scuffle here in the middle of the map, at the bottom of the ramp here. Nice save on some of those Marauders and Marines there for SpeCial.
Extra Widowmines coming in as well on the right side of mines. Once again, very important. There's a lot of bio units inside of that Medevac. These shots are going to be decent though, but he needs to unload. I still think Classic did all right there. The extra Medevacs do show up. SpeCial did a little bit of economic damage.
Oh, looking for another Medevac pick-off there. Maybe Marauders and Marines. All these chargeless really putting in a bit of damage there for Classic. Does eat a Widowmine shot there on those Zealots, but a lot of them still alive. I feel like with this Warp Prism on the way, Classic's going to try and go across the map and try and do something here.
I want to say I was surprised that he didn't start 2-2 yet. Now 2-2.
Medevac.
Yep.
Remember me?
Yeah, that was the Widowmine Medevac, right?
That's right. Yep, sent back from main.
I think in the end that went alright for Classic. That actually could have been a very difficult hold, but he was never really forced to make super hard decisions because he kind of just saw that arm and he's like, you know, we'll fight. And Classic and SpeCial was like, oh no, it's busy dropping auto turrets and like, you know, just did a Widowmine drop. Wasn't really ready for it, and that actually allowed Classic to survive, and obviously surviving is important, especially because now he's got that War Prism out, and we all know what a War Prism can do against a Terran player that thinks about moving out.
That's right. Brings you to the House of Pain. No extra charge. SpeCial has a good number of units back at home, and there is a lack of splash damage for Classic, so the Dream is still alive for the Terran, and the upgrade situation not great. Oh, another attempt at the Widowmine drop here. Late probe pull from Classic. He's not paying attention.
Oh, no probe pull at all.
Oh, no. Looks like he's paying attention over this side of the map. The 9 probes went down to that Widowmine shot, so we do have that game hard puppet to let you guys know about the damage. But there is damage here on this side of the map as well from Classic. A big warp in the main base. SpeCial taking a pretty extreme economic damage here as well.
Yep, a lot of lost mining time above everything, right? And the Prism is still alive. Can SpeCial maybe get it somewhere? Actually, apparently one of these Widowmines was able to get out as well. No, you gotta be careful there, Classic.
Ooh. That was a flex stim. He didn't move his units, he just stimmed. He's like, yeah, try it. Try it. I will A-click you so hard if you do that. Yeah.
RoboBay on the way, by the way, and High Templar is being wiped in as well. We don't have Storm yet, but at least High Templars are on the way.
As Medevac is trying to find anything here with that Widowmine. And Classic knows all about it, so don't expect too much damage to be done. Just the one probe going to give its life for Ire.
Yes. I love how he has like 6 Stalkers next to it. He's like, I could run a Stalker into it and blink it away. He's like, nah,
who has time for that?
Yeah.
Time is money.
Ain't nobody got time for that. But Classic actually kind of down economically. It's weird because he's getting a lot of very expensive stuff, and he's also playing a pretty crazy style. Like, I think in general, I'm a big fan of the Zealots and the Stalkers and spamming units in this matchup, but it is a kind of style where you need to be economically ahead, guys. Like, if Protoss has Storm and Colossus, they don't necessarily need to be economically ahead because that's a very strong army composition. But if you're relying on this stuff and you want to warp in units and you want to throw away units, you actually need that economic advantage.
I agree with you there. Splash damage is coming for Classic. It's looking a little bit more convincing here. Storm's about to finish up. He's got some Heim Templar in the Prism here. Oh, bad weather for the boys. Some of that front line of the Bio takes a big hit. The Widowmine's also taking a big hit there to those Zealots. But Classic still has a pretty scary army, and Serral, or rather SpeCial, respects it. He pulls back here to his ramp. He feels like he's afraid to move out with anything more than just, you know, some medevacs and liberators.
I'm always amazed with how fast they storm the moment they unload. Like, whenever I storm, I'm always like, click, 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 and then the bio's like already like way split up or like way out of range. I feel like the prism just shows up and it's like, boom, it's almost like they're being casted outside of the war prism. That would be a very cool unit, to be honest.
Getting that observer is nice. This Classic has been using that observer to know when the prism should come in. And the prism has been recalled now. Another observer coming down to take its place. Lots of Widow Mines here for Special, and a good number of Marauders as well.
Yeah.
Also, the Liberator sees that prism if he, you know, I don't know if he sees it, but he flies past it.
I mean, I love the mines, but now Colossus are out, and that actually makes it a little bit harder. But at least it can somehow zone out the War Prism. I kind of like it. Special's like, okay, I'm going to go up against a very strong army. I'm going to need a play here soon. He's going to use these Marines to maybe push away this prism. But I think the triple drop has a lot of potential for Special.
I agree. Widow Mines with Drilling Claws are going to try and catch that prism. They get it as well. This big drop for Special. Going to force Classic to take a lot of damage back at home. Even the Liberator covering him a little bit. Special also he's forced Classic's army way back. He's going to get a Nexus pick off.
Yeah,
that's really nice for Special.
Absolutely. That is a very nice little pick
Oh,
up.
the High Templar!
Templars left behind. Now only 2 High Templars remain. And unless I'm crazy, I want to say Colossus don't have Thermal Lens yet, but it's about to finish up, as we can see on the right side. Special still in this one, still dealing damage as well.
Yeah, really nice drop decision there from Special. I was a little bit worried about him because he was losing so much army. Oh, a full Monevac getting picked off there. Nice for Classic. This Bioforce definitely did its job. Special's losing a lot of SCVs here.
Oh no, don't go up that ramp, Classic. That would be very, very bad, because I don't think he has an observer with that army either. That'd be an absolute disaster.
Uh-oh, he's going through the Widowmine Forest here. Oh, the Zealots giving their lives here. Wow, a lot of Zealots actually died there.
And all of the mines are still alive as well. It's very important that he at least takes out all of these mines after losing this many units.
Yeah, there are some times when the Protoss pulls back and the mines are off cooldown, you lose some High Templar or something like that.
Yeah, been there.
Ooh,
Forward
under
blink.
attack.
I mean, there's still some units out on the map as well for Special. Classic, I don't know if you have to do this, man.
Oh, some nice mine hits there, softening up that Gateway army. Here comes Special's Bioforces. Oh, these Medevacs getting taken out in the tail end there. Storm available with all those Widow Mines. Widow Mines killed the Prism. I think they killed a High Templar as well. Another one goes down to the north side. Special really bleeding out Bioforces. Can Classic make this happen?
I mean, the storms were so big, though. That's really what helps. And these are the mines you were talking about. But it doesn't matter in the end. GG Classic with 1 or 2 massive storms in the end gets the W. But he's playing a dangerous game, Maynard.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty far from clean, right? But the scrappiness here is made for an entertaining series nonetheless. Classic taking the advantage in the series. 1 map away from joining all these world players in the top 4.
I really love how fast he casts those storms of the High Templars that he unloads out of the prism. I don't even see where they are yet, you know. I don't know if just because I'm not used to this little screen or the new skin jet. I was like, is that a bomb? And it's like, everything storms. Oh my goodness, that went fast.
All right, well, we're going to take a short break here. When we return, Special versus Classic, map number 4. Don't go away.
Describe to me a dream where fear is buried deep, where fire clears the way to leave the errant sheep. Follow
2019 GSL versus the World.
Good evening, my people up in the shed.
Welcome back, StarCraft fans. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Us commentators certainly are. This has been a pretty sick day of games of StarCraft 2. Some base trades, lots of upsets, high action, high impact. It's the good stuff, Roddy.
From...
Oh, there you are. I lost you for a second there. I was about to freak out.
I lost myself, mate, in your eyes, okay?
Welcome back.
I was staring at you, and that's why I couldn't actually make
You know
a
what?
sound.
I have that problem sometimes. I get up in the morning, I look in the mirror, I'm like, streak the chocolate out of my brown eye. It's just like, oh my God, look at this guy.
Important, of course, guys, it's far from over. We have the semi-finals today as well, so don't you nerds dare tuning out as soon as this quarterfinal is done, because we've got 2 more best-of-5s after this, and it's going to be epic.
That's right, and the game is ready, so let's get into it, friends. Turbo Cruise 84, Special vs. Classic.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
In the bottom left here in the blue, currently against the ropes. Needs to win a couple maps in a row to win this series. He is...
Ocean Gaming, SpeCial.
Played a fantastic round of 16 yesterday against Reynor, finally getting a big victory over that young Italian.
Some delicious revenge from the WCS circuit. And then the top right here in the red on match point, Korea's hope. He is...
Makers, Classic.
You know, Roddy, I'm going to out myself right now. I'm cheering for Classic.
That's all good.
I love SpeCial, but I am cheering for Classic right now. I want him to do well.
But what you are doing, though, is you're eliminating the last Terran of the tournament if you do that.
I'll take it.
Really?
I will take it.
You're
yeah.
Terran Heart?
I will take it over my Terran Heart. You know why? Because I love the game more than I love my race. And I think this would be good for Classic. This guy's not too far away from the military. It'd be nice to see a Korea in the top 4 just to shake things up as well, considering it's just world players up there. And I just think it'd be a cooler tournament. But, you know, obviously I love SpeCial, love the Terran, but...
I'm going to be boring. May the better nerd win, okay? And I think
the
so
better
far
nerd.
they're actually quite evenly matched. I think these games could have gone either way. I think Classic was good on Acropolis. I really liked a lot of the things he did there. I think Thunderbird, it was actually pretty risky, the things that he was doing. And I think that if SpeCial would have babysit like his first big move out a little bit better when he had like those extra mines coming in from the right side, I actually think there is a chance that he can make that fight go a little bit longer. And I think the longer it goes, the better it would have been for the Terran. And then he maybe could keep Classic on 3 bases a little bit longer. Economically, things would have been all right. So there absolutely was potential. Anyway, let's focus on this game as we saw the barracks being built in the middle of the map. But this time, Classic is not showing the same amount of respect as he did on New Repugnancy, Maynard.
No, he certainly isn't. I mean, there is a bit of a distance here, so it takes a while for that, you know, the Reaper to get across the map. The Adept will be out in a minute. But of course, SpeCial is looking for probe kills here and will settle for nothing less with that Reaper. One of them just dancing past the Reaper here. The Adept is out, like I said. It doesn't take too long to get built here.
Oh, this is actually so annoying, by the way, because now that probe is going to show up, so that second Reaper is going to have to go here to the natural, because this probe can start working on this SCV.
Certainly can.
And that is really frustrating for Terran players.
I can tell you all about it, Rotterdam. Certainly is. SCV getting really low. Another one coming down to help him out with the defense. Doesn't look like he's bringing that Reaper home. They're actually just... Oh, now they're coming back. Here they come. The Adept also trying to help out.
He better brings them back. I think there is still one Adept actually on the other side of the map. This is going to get interesting because obviously the Hellion can get repaired, but the Hellion is not that good. I wouldn't mind seeing him cancel that Shade, and that's exactly what he does. Classic is dealing some good economic damage here already. He's buying time. And what is really happening on the other side of the map, Mr. Observer? Please,
Yeah. Please. Oh, doesn't look like there's too much probe damage, otherwise we would have seen it pop up. We do see, ooh, some gateway. Oh, we've got a couple gateways and a Robo finishing up. So just a 3-gate Robo
War
around out there
Prism?
for Classic.
Is he going to open up with the Prism or just an Observer?
It is going to be the Prism. All right. Classic not too happy with the aggressive start here for SpeCial. Going to go into an aggressive transition himself here as the Prism is on the way.
I think very good news actually for SpeCial is that he's building a Viking. Maybe he's aware of this build. Maybe
And a
he's
Cyclone.
Yep.
It's like
I mean,
super anti-ed.
yeah, that's the best thing you can ever wish for, right? As a Terran player going up against his War Prism. So I kind of like it. Should not be in any danger of dying anytime soon.
Shouldn't be, on paper. Certainly looks the case. The Prism is going to have a hard time with the Viking sharking around, and also the Cyclones lock on quite nice as well. The bunker is also coming up for Special in the natural, so if the gateway units try to run past and kill SCVs or anything like that, they're going to have a little bit of a tougher time. Reacted barracks for Special is going to be able to load up that bunker nice and quickly. Hellion running into the natural now. Get a little bit of damage on one of those probes. So you're going to get the one so far. Don't know if they'll get anything else though. The sentry sort of holding that line, doing a little bit of tickle beam damage to that Hellion. Special really being annoying here with just that one Hellion. He sees the Prism move out here from Classic.
Yeah, Classic is up 7 workers, but I really have a hard time believing that he's going to be able to get a lot done here. He's going to try. This is very ambitious. That's a lot of damage on that War Prism immediately.
Oh god, that was so close. Classic does keep it alive, but surely he's be thinking twice about dropping that main again now that Special has that Viking and the Cyclone as well, still pretty high enough in hit points. Yeah, Classic's just going home.
What I always hate personally if I'm a pros player and this kind of stuff happens, like you might look at it and be like, oh, this is alright, this is an even game. Downside though is that your real attack is so late, right? Like now the Twilight Council, the Forge, they are not even done yet. It's 5 minutes into the game. You're starting your first Immortal. When can you really afford a Robo-Pay? And even then, that's going to take a very long time. So this may not look like that much has happened, but I actually think this is pretty damn sweet for Special, because the real power units of Protoss, it's going to take a while before they make an appearance.
Certainly. Just a single Forge here for Classic so far, with the Twilight Council finishing up as well. So with the armor coming down, it looks like it is going to be straight in a charge rather than blink. And a Templar Archives really fast for Classic on 2 base as well.
I actually think that's kind of smart, right, to go for charge here. Because he knows that if he goes blink into charge, it's going to take a very, very long time. And, well, we've seen how that can turn out if you only have a couple of Stalkers and there's a big push coming. So I think going charge here first is smart, and he's probably going to go for Quick Storm as well, right? That's like the only thing that I think that truly makes sense. There are some games where you'd be like, oh, let's try something with Zealot Archon. But this really is one of those moments where like, nope, I just want to get High Templars out as quickly as possible. And then maybe once again land a couple of those devastating storms. Because if there's one thing that has really stood out for me so far in this series, it's how good the storms have been from those High Templars out of the War Prisms.
Certainly. And that is basically like, not a whole lot of Special's army is going to be great against those storms. You know, he hasn't caught wind of this early Templar Archive. Sometimes Terrans will go for the earlier Ghost Academy to deal with it, or just maybe throw in a few more Marauders or a couple Siege Tanks or something like that to really punish some guy that goes for the faster High Templars. It is such an expensive unit. We do have that. Oh, that Prism is dead, and it had some pretty precious cargo as well.
Wow, that's massive. I mean, now you're going to have to rebuild the Prism as well, because obviously that's very important to have those High Templars inside of it. This Raven on us is going to be nice. Auto turret gets at least 1 probe, maybe even a Stalker. No, that's not going to happen out, but hey, that's a lot of lost mining time once again. Wow, wow, wow. Maynard, your boy Classic, not looking too hot so far here on Turbo Cruise.
Oh, my Korean lad, he's having a bit of a hard time getting into this game, that's for sure. Third base, 3/4 of the way done here for the Protoss. Special still sharking around with that Raven as well. Another auto turret.
Wow, look at the supplies.
Yeah.
This is a good catch though at least, but that's a lot of force fields as well. And the Cyclone's actually not that important anymore. It's obviously always nice to have them, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's like the most important thing in the world. Special's 21 army supply ahead. Let's see if we can make something happen soon. As soon as Stim is done and Combat Shield is done.
Yeah, it's about to negate that +1 armor of the Protoss as well, with that +1 nearly finishing up. With all those upgrades finishing up, usually the Terran uses that opportunity to go across the map and try and find some damage against the Protoss. Special's sort of anti-probe flying army here being very, very annoying. Classic is chasing around. He gets the feedback on the Raven, nice. And he does get the Viking as well, so that's a nice pick up there for Classic. And those upgrades finishing up, like I said, great time to go and attack. Special is gearing up for it.
Yeah, Ghost Academy is on the way as well, though.
He saw the High Templar.
Yep, and I think that's actually like, imagine if he can get a couple of Ghosts out. He's got Widow Mines already. I really don't see Class. Oh my goodness, 12 probes went down. Where? I think it was a Widow Mine drop into the main base or something. 12 probes just went down,
Maynard.
There
it is. Oh, that's devastating, man. Classic looks like he's only down, you know, half a dozen workers, but that's pretty devastating for the Protoss at this point in the game. You want to be up workers, not down, because you have a large army supply deficit as a Protoss in this game usually. If everything goes to plan, the Terran has more army supply. They have some nice upgrades and a great timing attack coming for you. And if you have less mining than them, then just getting the replenishments, you know, your army reinforcements is all that much harder.
And the worst thing is that he's been down economically as well, right? It's not like one of those games where he was up 10, 12 workers all the time. And it's like, oh, now he just fell a few workers behind. It's like, no, he's actually been outmined for the majority of this game.
Tell me High Templar don't die this Marine. Okay, there we go.
I don't know if that's the case. Robo and Robo Bay are on the way though, but he's only at 56 probes. And now that army, that move out that you were talking about, Maney, it's coming. I don't know how many goals we have in the mix, but you know, he's activating a storm there. couple of buy units, they don't get the success they're looking for. Where are those ghosty boys?
He's got one at home. Classic sees it with the Observer, but the Raven in tandem getting rid of that Observer back at home. So Classic doesn't really have any vision on Special side of the map anymore. He is moving out with his army. This feels so dangerous for Classic. His army splitting up a little bit. The Prism going to the right.
I actually really like what this Raven has been doing, right? It's been picking off Observer after Observer, and Vision is everything in this matchup. And it's so frustrating for a Protoss player to have to rebuild the Observers over and over again. Also because you want to be building Colossus or Immortals, right? You don't want to rebuild Ops all the time.
And they're 75 gas of power play.
Yep, that's also annoying. And it doesn't even cost the Terran anything because they don't have to scan. They already have the Raven. Now it's very easy to lose a Raven, but Special's done a good job. He's doing a very good job here as well, and immediately putting his workers away.
Yeah, great awareness there from Special. Classic not going to waste those storms on too little damage. He wants a nice, juicy mineral line of damage there. Lots of ghosts still being made here from Special. He's actually stopped Marauder production completely, and he's making a lot of ghosts. Which is where the Colossus could actually come in for Classic. Like, if Classic has a bit more time to get the Colossus count higher, ghosts really suck against those. So things could start to switch into the Protoss' favor a bit.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's now or, I don't want to say never, but now or much later,
not
right?
for a while,
yeah, exactly. So this is probably the moment for Special to really make some magic happen. Oh no. I feel like that happens very often with certain Terran players. It's like, you know what's the most important unit I have right now? It's like the Ghosts. It's like, where are they?
Get out there, hold that line.
It's like, get in there, Ghost. He's like, no, wait for backup. Now that's bad. So basically the timing window we were talking about, I don't want to say it's gone, but it just becomes a lot harder because now he has less EMPs. You can't really, going through those slow zone, by the way, is so risky because there are high Templars. There are a couple Vikings in the mix though.
Interference Matrix on these Colossi as well, so they're not really helping out Classic for now. He pulls back a bit. Storms go down, but they're kind of whiffing here for Classic. A lot of the bio is still very healthy.
There's still 2 more Storms in that War Prism though. Keep an eye on that Prism, Maynard, because that's what it's all about. And I think Special knows it. I think Special needs to get the hell out of here.
I agree. He has to go through an inhibitor zone to go home the quickest way as well. Oh, he's a storm with the backside there of that bio. Breaks off some Marines to try and catch that Prism, but doesn't successfully pick it off.
Classic is like, you did that to me at BlizzCon, mate. Like, that's not going to happen again. He's like, I remember that one. Oh, the entire army goes through one of these slow zones. There's a Widowmine though on the left side there. Oh, right side actually.
Oh, that Storm flank. Look at how quick those Storms are. You're absolutely right, Roddy. He does lose one of those high Templar. The Ghost also trying to chase down the Prism.
And that Prism is still alive. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
But the army on the right side is suddenly very exposed. And now that's kind of awkward, right? Like, where were those Colossus? There's only one Immortal in the mix there. These Marauders are doing pretty damn good.
They're diving for those Colossi. 4 Colossi putting out a lot of damage here. Special looks like he might get one of them thanks to this Viking. The ground army, though, has been erased. Oh, this Widowmines! Oh, God, that could have been way worse. There was some high Templar there, and obviously the Colossus very, very damaged from that battle. Such a scrappy game.
Where's his army going?
Where you going, mate? Yeah. Get some charge lots. Whew.
Especially with 1,200 minerals in the bank as well. Special with his tournament live on the line. I mean, that was just hectic. Like, what to even say about that battle? It went into so many different directions. I love that Special turned around at one point and just decided to fight. Otherwise, he would have just lost even more. And he didn't really do anything on the other side. But I think the fight on the right side was great. Against the Colossus, it was actually quite close. And it really felt that the Marauders were doing an all-right job. But then 2 more High Templar showed up as well. The final Storms maybe a little too much, but what a fight.
Yeah, what a game. Special's tournament life on the line here. Classic trying to close things out in the 3-1. My army is rotating to the right. Special's seen it though with that Marine.
Special has a well, upgrade lead is maybe not the right way to put it, but I think 2-1 against 1-2 is actually always quite all right.
+3 armor is on the way for Classic. Looks like he's missing the attack upgrade. He can afford it, but it looks like he's just trying to round out a few more units. Oh, there's that +2 attack, so just a little bit behind.
Yeah, economically Classic does feel quite strong, but hey, Special is on a 4-base economy now as well, and he's got Vikings, and this is a good map for Vikings, I feel too, right? There's a lot of safe spots where they can get a couple of good shots off on these Colossi, and that's what's going to be all about. Planetary Fortresses are very strong here.
Oh, EMPs on pretty much everything on the ground there, Roddy. The Colossi taking some big damage from those Vikings. One of them's about to go down as well. No room in the Prism for it, so just has to pull all the way back. Oh, that EMP was so tasty.
Yeah, a good storm on the Vikings, but I don't really understand why Classic took that fight. Like, you don't want to take these kind of fights near Planetary Fortresses, man, because the Zealots are just not going to do anything. They're going to storm forward, and then it's going to be like, oh, there's a PF, let's attack that. It's like, no, Zealots, you don't want to do that. But the storms on the Vikings were really good, and that actually kind of prevented a total disaster there for Classic.
Attacking this Planetary feels like a bit of a pipe dream, but you really don't want to attack through inhibitor zones into the natural and third either.
I'd probably go, if you really want to fight, you fight on the left side. But I think he's afraid that if he opens it, then SpeCial will just send a couple of forces down the right side of this map and will start attacking him instead. So I think the best thing is indeed to just build your own Stargate and kind of chill.
And that kind of is the way for Classic. He's rotating his units around. The Prism still with some precious High Templar within. He's throwing in Disruptors, going to start dealing with his Ghosts a little bit more directly. Disruptors are fantastic against the Ghosts, and even just the Bio in general for the Terran. Very, very nice addition to the composition of Classic. They're a little ways away, and the Stargate, of course, means he can start to unlock, Oracle tags, and then eventually Tempest, which are the fantastic endgame tool for the Protoss.
Yeah, we saw that right in the Trap vs. Hero Marine. The combination of Tempest, Storm, Colossus, and High Templars or Disruptors, whatever. I forgot one of them. It was very powerful. It was a lot of splash damage, and it got the job done for Trap.
Not the greatest warp ins here, but he does get some nice storms there on the SCVs, and it doesn't look like these High Templar are going to go home.
I wonder if that Archon can finish up and actually get like a few more SCV kills.
Well, the tank's doing a fair bit of damage to it. He is getting more SCV kills. I'm saying 7.
8. That Archon may live forever.
Oh, EMPs on the High Templar. That's all of them, Roddy.
Oh my god, and the Colossus now as well taking a lot of damage. I mean, he should have a few more, but there are Disruptors coming in from the left side. But they actually went into the slow zone.
Yeah, so the Purification over also got slowed down there. TIL, I didn't even know that happened. So the Disruptors, while they're a nice addition, didn't really make a huge difference there. That Colossus being chased back. Bleak Stalker's there to zone out those Vikings.
Oh my god, I may hope for Classic that he still has a Storm or two available somewhere. I don't know where they are though. He's pretending he had a Storm, but the Warp Prism goes down. Didn't really have anything inside of it though.
Oh, I'm so worried for Classic here. Rotterdam, the Vikings getting landed. The Bio coming forward. These Disruptor Novas need to be really good here for Classic. There are a couple more Storms coming forward. He has 1 or 2 on these High Templar.
Wow, really good micro there by SpeCial, avoiding them, but there are still Zealots coming in as well, and I actually think that's gonna be enough. Look at the money that Classic has. He's got 2,000 minerals. If he can just spend some of that, use those robotics facilities, my friend.
Oh man, the Bio with just pretty much primarily Stalkers here. Doing all right. He's already killed 9 probes from that Nexus as well. Some of the reinforcements are SpeCial. I mean, a lot of guys that play Terran on this map, you got to know that when you're attacking into that Nexus and you're rallying across the map, they do run through those inhibitor zones, and they will get carved up at the defensive line of the Protoss. So, got to take a bit of a breath here. Classic was really on the precipice in that moment there against SpeCial, but is going to hold on here.
Yeah, he just kind of ran out of storms completely after all of those High Templars got sniped. I think SpeCial probably got very excited when he got the Warp Prism as well. He's like, imagine if that was full of High Templars too. Is that going to be enough? In the end, it was close, but it wasn't. And that actually means it's actually sort of all right for Classic. And I know that sounds silly, but he had 2,000 minerals in the bank during all of that. And they were pretty dead even at the end of that fight. So hey, all he needs to do is spend some of that money. And then once again, he is a little bit ahead.
Well, that money was spent on triple Tempest production and some Colossus as well, so that's where that bank went for Classic. This medevac. Yeah, that's dead. So down that goes. Classic with that army supply lead. He's also getting air upgrades as well for these Tempests, but SpeCial is, getting a little bit up there in his army supply as well, but I'm not really liking the Viking count anymore. He's up against Tempest and he knows that. Still just has the 1 Viking. I'd like to see a lot of Starport production. I haven't actually seen the production time in a little while here. Oh, High Templar getting picked off, so the Bio is still alive, but the Charge Lot Warpins going to come out here just in time for some of these low hit point units.
SpeCial was actually a bit broke. I think that's why he couldn't rebuild the Vikings that he lost before. I'm sure he would have liked to have a few more, but he just had almost no money in the bank at all when he was hovering around 130, 140 supply. And Warp Prism is going to make its way into the main base. That 1 Viking is going to put in the work, but a few Zealots will actually appear. This is always going to be annoying because you need to rearrange your rally points and stuff like that. These Marines out of position as well. Classic is starting to look better and better over here on Turbo Cruise.
Yeah, he's starting to look pretty solid now. Some of his Ghosts joining in, even EMP and the Zealots to help him out with some of that production being camped by the Protoss. Classic with 5 Tempests here, which is pretty convincing. He's also got +1 attack on them, don't forget. The Liberator looking for some damage. Oh, just escapes with his life there. Oh, no, comes back. I've changed my mind. I want to die.
Liberator's like, maybe I can get a Stalker.
This always is so hilarious to me. When they're like, no, you won't have that ledge.
Yeah.
You won't have it.
It's like, come, you want to see if you can get me? Shoot you. It's also a nice little anti-F2 thing though.
It is true.
And we've seen a couple of F2 Prisms in this tournament.
We have
and an
a
F2 medevac.
Couple F2 medevacs.
Yeah,
There's one in this series, perhaps.
The
jury's out on that.
It's good to see that they're all human, right?
It's a good hockey.
Couple of Zealots are going to find this base on the left side. It's obviously a very important base because SpeCial's still not maxed out. He needs to get closer and closer to maxed out. His tournament life is on the line. Flies forward one of those Purification Novas, Classic that is, and connected with the tank. but not enough to kill it. That Tempest counter, I really,
this
you
is really
can't,
annoying for
you
Special.
can't engage these armies in general. Right? If there are storms, if there are disruptors in the mix as well, I really don't think
Special.
that it doesn't matter how good your concave is. He's gonna try. He's gonna come in from the north side. He wants to land those EMPs once again, and
Really
he does
nice
land them.
EMPs. Very nice EMPs. Disruption Nova's zoning back the Bio for now,
Wow.
but they are collapsing on Classic here. Storm's also giving him a bit more time, but the Tempest count is being cut into. The EMPs have also softened up the Gateway Army. Special's in a bit of a choke point here. Classic trying to hold on. Some splash damage from this Colossi on the backside.
Oh my God.
The Tempests are folding here to the Bio. Special pressing the issue. That last bit of splash damage going down here for the Protoss, and he's left with just Gateway units on the ground, Roddy.
Yeah, that last storm was mighty fine, but that's still a lot of bio units. And Classic, yes, he's got a bit of money, but that was a really bad fight. I thought he would have a few more disruptors. I thought he'd have a few more storms, but the EMPs were massive. I don't know why he's taking this fight. That's not a fight you're gonna win, right? I mean, the bio might be low. Okay, maybe with the storms were big.
The storms are big. Charge lot reinforcement might be enough here to fight back, but this Bio is so heavily upgraded. He's got +3 attack. Oh man, this one Tempest even helping out a little bit. A lot of SCVs dying at that base to the 9 o'clock location there. So charge lot run by the looks of things. Oh man, both players with pretty dismal economies, but Special with much bigger army.
Look at all those observers. They're like, here we are. Can we help? It's like, well, not really.
Yeah, whatever we're going to fly by is going to be super detected.
I mean, those EMPs were sick. Really, really good move there by Special, getting those ghosts in from the left side, letting the EMPs on Knight Templars. And suddenly there were very few storms available. But and once again, that's a great move by Special, but also a bit sloppy by Classic. That should have never happened. And if you have that many Tempests, like you know the Tempests are never going to be good in a straight up fight. If you just stand there and there's no AoE, Tempests are simply not that good. So it's really important you space out the High Templars, you have a couple of disruptors, and normally that becomes an unengageable army. It's just not supposed to be possible. You have to outmaneuver it. Special made a great move, but Classic definitely kind of gave it to him there.
Special with that standard late game Terran gas bank here at the moment. Classic trying to press the issue here on this orbital, which is, you know, it's obviously not a planetary, so why not? The bio defenses here get pushed back. Special's army's on the right-hand side here, so we bring a few more forces in to actually stop these charge lots from doing more SCV damage.
Isn't it crazy how he's like throwing away units while he's on 46 workers and 63 army supply? He's like,
it's like he thinks there's 2,000 minerals in the back.
not anymore. He does finally get his +3. I think like a Colossus or two would be amazing, but I mean, it's hard to get there, right?
It's a little bit tough. 3-3 upgrade is rounded out here for the Protoss, at least on the armor and the attack. And Special hasn't been able to really afford +3 thrust armor for his bio units.
Special does have a lot of Marines, so Storm can be very devastating. That's a bad fight for Classic though. Needs to get the hell out of there. Ends up losing a couple of Zealots, and his army supply still not looking too good. Wants to land Storms. I don't know, he's just kind of going up. He really wants to get this planetary, and he may finally get it. +3 Zealots are very good. Lands a couple of Storms as well. No, he doesn't get it yet.
Oh no, that decision from Classic I think may have cost him this game, but he was in a pretty bad spot to begin with. Oh, Special cleaning this up, and that is going to be that. We're going to go to Game 5, an ace match for this series.
Ooh, and you could see Classic looking a little frustrated there as well. Juanito obviously quite pleased with that, maybe a little bit stressed in the end. And that was wild. That really was wild. Obviously, I think at one point Classic was in a really good spot. He basically had everything that Protoss dreams were made of. He survived, I think, the scariest phase in the game. And then suddenly just one big mistake. Normally that's just something that doesn't happen to Classic either, right? Like, even if all of the High Templars in the main army gets EMP'd, these guys, the Protoss gods from Korea, they always have High Templars spaced out everywhere. Come from the north side, from the south, the north, the south, the east, the west main art. They come in from every angle. This time, those guys were EMP'd. And yeah, there was like 1 or 2 backup storms, but at one point Special just didn't care. And he kept stimming forward, and he got a massive victory where I don't think normally that should have been possible.
We are one map away from an all WCS top 4 right now.
That's ridiculous.
One map.
That is absolutely ridiculous. The final map is going to be played on King's Cove as well. Personally think that's an alright map for Terran.
Yeah,
at least that Reaper can get into the main base,
It certainly can. No single pylon going to stop that from happening.
Classic's going to take off his jacket as well. He knows
Oh,
it's a big
serious.
moment.
Serious business here. Get out of here, jacket. I need my arms to be free to breathe here. This Terran is no joke.
The last Korean representative in GSL versus the world. In the last quarterfinal of the day. I cannot believe I'm saying these words, but this is the truth. This is the way that this tournament is played out so far, or has played out so far. We still have 2 semifinals to go as well today, guys. So don't tune out after this. But let's get ready for game
Tune
5.
out, you messed up. Let's go.
4, 3, 2, 1.
In the top left here with a win on Turbo Cruise, looking for that reverse sweep. This is
Ocean Gaming. SpeCial.
Wasn't it 1-1?
1-1.
Yeah.
Oh, nice to do.
But that's not a reverse sweep, no. In the right bottom side.
Makers. Classic.
You know what I mean?
I
He has
know.
to get 2 maps in a row.
Okay, a mini reverse sweep.
Okay.
Down to one.
A reverse dust. Not really a sweep.
It's all good, matey. I mean, the semifinals are going to be sick. Obviously, the semifinal in the left side of the bracket is going to be played between Elazer and Neeb. Can't really remember those two going up against each other too often lately. Like, I have the feeling that it happened a little bit more maybe in 2017. Obviously, that's the one story that they have in common, right? In 2017, those were your 2 WCS champions. Neeb won 3 of them, Elazer won 1 of them.
And the 2 2017 WCS champs.
And then on the other side of the bracket, we've got that one 2018 WCS champ. He was a bit greedy.
He's just like, you know what? I don't really want to share this. I don't want to share this circuit. I kind of just want to win all of them.
I think Blizzard was forced to start switching up their trophies because it's like, already was it like, you know, everyone would win one of them and be really cool. And he's like, no, this guy just keeps winning the same trophy over and over again. They already had that problem a little bit with Neeb, of course. Anyway, it's going to be a Reaper fast expand coming out of our Mexican Terran player on the left top side. And a standard opening so far from Classic. What do you think, Maynard? I know you're hoping Classic, but what do you think?
I'm starting to warm up to your may the best player win thing here. Just want good games, you know, want to do the boring thing.
Well, what do you think so far? Out of like...
Well, the builds for Classic? I would like to see, I was going to say, I would like to see some Stargate again. There it is. Thanks, Classic.
Phoenix play, perhaps?
Yeah,
I think his Phoenix play is pretty good, but obviously on New Republic didn't really work out. Now, I must say, I do think that Phoenixes in general are stronger on King's Cove than they are on New Repugnancy. Reaper just gets into the main base. Can SpeCial get a kill here? Yes, it can. And that's, you know, that may seem minor, but it's such a good feeling for a Terran player to just get in there with your Reaper, pick off a probe, a little bit of lost mining time as well.
Yeah.
Now he gets back in on the other side and will most likely spot the fact that there is a Stargate as well.
He does.
It's a really good start for SpeCial.
It's about as good as you can hope for, apart from getting more probe kills. You know, in the early game, just going for a Reaper expand, it's not like it's proxied anything, and getting a probe kill at this level is very rare. It's usually Protoss is very, very good at zoning out that Reaper from the probe line. And it is going to be straight into Oracle here for Classic, so not going to be straight into those Phoenixes.
Yeah, very quick second barracks here for SpeCial. We'll see. SpeCial in general, a player that truly plans out his builds, right, for every single map. He's like, all right, these are the 5 maps I can potentially play, and this kind of has a plan to go with it. And obviously he'll make adjustments based upon what he sees, but it's all about like the first couple of minutes. He often has a very clear plan about how he wants to start and how he potentially wants to win the game if his opponent does what he's expecting him to do.
Classic dropping some structures in front here. Helps you out in case this is like, you know, potentially Hellions, that sort of thing. The debate mine here.
He's like, Oracle, you should try to pick up me.
Sometimes it works.
Yep.
So why not?
But I don't think you ever want to activate Pulsar Beam in that part of the map. Like you might be like, I don't know. We'll see if it works. Obviously the scout that SpeCial had is big, because now we see that second Widow Mine is on the way, we see a Viking is in production, and I think that's maybe the most noteworthy. That's pretty quick stim compared to a lot of the other Terran builds out there. Don't forget he went for a quick second barracks, as we mentioned. That is a quick stim, and it's important for Classic that he figures that one out. If Classic flies his Oracle into like the Viking or the Widow Mine main, this could be a disaster. Not just for Classic, but for Korean StarCraft 2.
Korean StarCraft 2 is rested on Classic shoulders right now at GSL vs. World. Reaper getting up to the main base. Getting a little bit more info here as it's about to get taken down by the Adept, the Stalker. There we go. Sees the Stargate still spinning. Those Oracles flying past here. 3 Oracles for Classic.
He's playing a dangerous game. That's a lot of commitment. The Viking is way out of position though, so we'll see. I wonder what the Marine count is at. Okay, these Widow Mines are going to get picked up. The Marine count is high. But we'll see how this one plays out. This is going to be an explosive one. It's funny as well, because last week I really felt that the Koreans actually did very good against all the Europeans in Europe. But now apparently the Europeans and the North Americans are doing good against Koreans in Korea. The Marines a bit out of position. Here are the Oracles, Maney.
Yeah, they're finding good numbers of damage here on those SCVs, and there we go. Classic sees all these Marines. Can now set up back at home. I mean, once these Oracles, of course, have done their drive-by, going to get a few more SCVs before they dart out of harm's way. Oh, the mines!
Classic! Classic! Can he lift? Can he lift? He should have lifted.
Not looking. Oh, man. Blunder there from Classic. Looks like he might have been controlling those Oracles still. This left everything on autopilot back at home. Both players have lost a dozen workers. Classic still up 7 here as the dust settles, and it looks like one of the Oracles went down as well. But,
I do think it's all right for Classic. Like,
yeah.
obviously that looked painful and it feels like, oh, that shouldn't have happened, right? Like, no, he probably could have handled that a lot better. But it's still all right for Classic because he got 3 Widow Mines as well, and he got the medevac, so that's big. And he should have seen the amount of Marines and, of course, that tech lab, so he should sort of be prepared for this attack that's incoming.
Yeah, and to stop something like this, just shield batteries generally. A lot of shield batteries, some sentries can definitely help out as well. Blink can be nice, but I like shield batteries more. I'm getting very, very worried for Classic here.
Yeah, you need to, he's building probes now as well, and the Stalkers are not actually moving out or anything. Classic, it is important that you're aware of these Marines, because there's a lot of firepower in this tiny army. Oh, no.
He does not look like he's ready for it at all.
This could be a disaster for Classic.
This actually might end right here. Oh, the Observer sees it, but it's too late.
What do you do?
Yeah, you've already warped in what you've done here. You've already made your round of probes. Oh, he's going to sack the third, I think. Leave the third, go back to the natural.
He's going to rely on force fields. He's going to try to hold this here with a Guardian shield.
It's so tough.
That's doable, maybe.
Oracles, they can help.
He's in position now, right, with everything. A Guardian shield is big here. That Widow Mine is very big as well. There, I mean, it's so nerve-wracking to watch. This Guardian shield is required at this point. The force fields go down as well.
Nice force fields from Classic, mitigating some of that bio damage. This is one of those sentries very, very close to going down. The Widow Mine gets a decent enough connection there on some of those Stalkers, but Classic actually does hold on very nicely there.
Yep, and because he was building probes during all of this, like the absolute madman that he is, he actually has a pretty decent economic advantage now.
And also didn't have to use the Oracles too much, so they still have plenty of energy for Pulsar Beams, or in this case, going to be some Stasis Wards on top of that ramp. SpeCial pretty committed here on these 2 barracks, and he's making 3 more back at home as well with that 3rd base on location. Wow. He knows that Classic's not going to really have units to spend on the other side of the map, so he gets one of the Observers there. Pushing forward here against Classic.
Very worried about the stasis traps there. Good force fields by Classic. I really like the way that Classic did that. I like what SpeCial did as well. He was very careful, very cautious. But in the end, Classic is defending this pretty convincingly. And I actually think he can send his Oracle to the other side of the map to maybe delay that command center, right? Because there is nothing guarding that 30C from SpeCial.
And he's got that +1 attack as well to make these Stalkers do a little bit more damage output against whatever they are, whether the Marauders, the Marines, Medevacs as well. But SpeCial did manage to get that 3rd up. His economy is actually not too bad. While he did, quote-unquote, lose the fight there at the 3rd base, his situation on the other side of the map isn't too dire. These Oracles, though, looking to change that up.
Yep, and that missile turret is not done yet, so that actually is going to make this a little bit more painful as well than perhaps it should have been. That's 4 SCVs going down. SpeCial still in this one, but man, I was so worried for Classic. I was like, oh my goodness, imagine if those units are like derping behind the mineral line, then 18 Marines show up with Stim +1, they dive on top of that, sentries go down. I was like, that's it, that's curtains, that's the end of Classic, and that's the end of Korean StarCraft in this tournament, at least until the team match. But good news for Classic is that that is not the case, and he actually defended that very well. I find this a bit ambitious, taking your fort right now. But I guess he's just full of confidence and probably looks at his army. He's like, I'm actually not afraid of it. I like my army better. I have a lot of faith in my Blink Stalker micro.
You know what? I like his army better too.
I think most damn players do.
Oh, nice cannon here, zoning away that Liberator, putting in a little bit extra damage on it as well, so the job for the Phoenix is a lot easier. In fact, Serral's SpeCial's going to just sack that one. This one going into the main base is a much nicer Liberator here for SpeCial.
Yeah, these Oracles are grabbing a couple of kills on the other side of the map as well, just being annoying. A little bit of economic damage, but at the same time, Zell will show up in the natural as well, so that's more economic damage. Classic definitely striking back. Where's the main army of SpeCial? It's kind of running around.
It's coming back to the natural, I think.
Yeah. Not doing too much. Now, we do have 2 Colossi on the way. And the first Vikings are on the way. Second Starport is being built as well on the side of SpeCial. I mean, Classic definitely got himself in a good position. And I kind of feel like the ball's in his corner to maybe make like a little timing once these upgrades sync up and maybe get a little War Prism. Does he still have a Prism somewhere? Yeah, he does, right? because he was dropping zealots, so I assume that he does have a prism.
I think it was very damaged, so maybe it got picked off by the Marines coming back or some of the Vikings. But yeah, oh, there it is. So it is still damaged, but it's alive. Back at the home force classic.
I really feel that he can attack, right?
I mean, he's just playing it careful. This is game 5, so maybe waiting for those upgrades to finish before he goes across the map. I would like to see him actually, you know, maybe get another prism and try and do a little bit more charge lot stuff. Be really cool.
Yep. I mean, economically, he's at 66 probes. Specials is building a lot of SCVs and building that 4th command center on location, and that's kind of why I think like maybe Classic should think of being a little more aggressive here, because he's got a massive army advantage. I mean, normally a Terran is not supposed to be down 33 army supply, and then definitely not supposed to take that fort base on location, right? While building more SCVs than the Protoss is. But obviously I understand as well what you said. Tournament live on the line for Classic. It's hard to make all the correct calls in a game 5.
That's just being careful. Well, that Zealot skin looks nice, by the way. I think that's the Brood Ball one.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. Ghost Academy finishing up here for Special.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's the first time I see that in action.
So with the Ghost Academy, Ghost going to be able to hit the line here. That Observer about to go down thanks to the turrets. And here we go. Classic still with a very large army supply advantage. 2-2 not too far away from done, and these Colossi putting in a lot of splash damage.
The Archons are so nice as well, right? They're going to be very tanky because I don't see any ghosts here in the mix. Couple of Zealots are going to be super annoying in this mineral line on the north side. And yeah, this planetary is scary, but the Viking count isn't really there to apply a lot of pressure on these Colossi.
This is looking good for Classic, getting through that Viking count. The Liberator's trying to make things a little bit more of a commitment for Classic. That planetary quite low. It does have 11 SCVs on it to be able to repair it, but Special's only just using a few right now to help it out. Classic still trading well against Special's army. He's on that planetary again. The Warp Prism also rolling in another round of Stalkers.
I think he's doing really good. Just got to be a little bit careful that you don't overcommit too much near that planetary fortress, but you gotta love the way that Classic is doing this. Even though it's sort of like an anti-timing almost. He had the army and look at all those SCVs.
The Laser Giraffe's gonna get some nice splash damage on here. They're just going straight for the command center. Down it goes. That Prism even going deeper inside of Special's infrastructure here. Oh man, this looks like it might be it. Roddy is going for those Colossi. The Prism's still alive, but it gets picked up before that Warp Pin happens. But does it even matter? There is still so much Protoss left over. GG! Korea stays alive for one more round. Classic gonna be our last round of 4 player here.
And I definitely think the last game was probably the best one out of Classic as well. I really liked the way he played. Obviously that Wither Mine drop, that did too much damage, but he was doing so much on the other side of the map, so suddenly we can forget about those little mistakes. I think that's the Classic we all expect to show up here and that we want to see. And that Classic, if he brings that kind of a level in the next round, he is always dangerous, Maynard. Even against the reigning world champion of StarCraft 2, this man right here, the last up of Korea, can absolutely still get the job done.
Oh, let's go to an interview on the stage with Classic and Hajin. Hajin, take it away.
And we have our last semi-finalist, Classic. Congratulations. What a nail-biting series. I mean, my heart is still pounding so hard. 4강 진출 축하드립니다. So you are now in the round of 4, and you're the only Korean out of the 4 players. I was wondering, did that put any extra pressure on you before the game? 4강 진출을 하셨는데 한국 선수는 혼자세요. 혹시 경기 전에 좀 그런 게 압박감을 좀 느끼셨나요?
네, 원래 경기 시작하면 그렇게 긴장을 많이는 안 하는데 오늘 제가 떨어지면 한국인이 전멸이어가지고 뭔가 어떻게든 올라가야겠다라는 생각에 좀 부담감이 조금 있었던 것 같아요.
So usually I'm not really nervous once the game starts, but today, you know, before the game I was thinking, if I'm out, well, there are no more Koreans left. So I totally felt that extra pressure. Let's talk about the whole series, because I thought it was really aggressive. There were some base trade, there were really sharp harassment from both sides. Why is that? 오늘 경기를 전체적으로 봤을 때 되게 공격적이었던 것 같아요. 막 엘리전도 있었고 서로 견제를 되게 날카롭게 갔는데 어떤 특별한 이유라도 있나요?
너무 무난하게만 하면 스페셜 선수가 주도권을 갖고 공격적으로 잘하기 때문에 저도 그런 주도권을 갖기 위해서 공격적으로 했고 그래도 좀 긴장을 많이 해가지고 경기력이 좀 아쉬웠던 것 같아요.
So you know, against Special, I thought if I go for standard games, I won't be able to win. That's why I really wanted to stay always ahead in games, and I played that aggressively. Well, next, you're going up against Serral. I checked your record. Actually, it's been a while you haven't played against each other. It's from last year WSG. How do you think you're gonna do against Serral? 이제 다음 선수는 세랄 선수인데 제가 전적을 확인해 봤더니 사실 작년 이후로는 서로 경기를 안 했더라고요. 이제 어떠신가요? 좀 다음 경기.
우선 세랄은 최고의 선수고 그렇지만 저도 충분히 이길 수 있다라고 생각이 들어서 좀 되게 빨리 경기를 하고 싶어요.
So Serral, of course, is the best player, but I think I can win this. I'm really looking forward to play against him. Well, do you have any lesson for your fans? Actually, the cheers at the game 5 was amazing. Did you hear actually the cheer? 이제 팬분들에게 한마디 부탁드리는데 그 5세트 때 혹시 그 팬들의 그 함성을 들으셨나요? 엄청 컸는데.
뭐 저게 방음이 잘 돼 있어서 들리진 않지만 그래도 뭔가 조금은 느꼈던 것 같고 이제 남은 한국인이 저밖에 없어서 많이들 더 응원해 주시는 것 같은데 꼭 이겨가지고 결승 갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
So actually, I had a noise cancelling headset, so I couldn't hear anything. But thank you for cheering. I think you're even more cheering for me because I'm the last Korean. So thank you so much. Congratulations again, and best of luck in the next round. So now we have our 4 last players. It's time to check today's results. 네, 8강 최강 결과 확인해 보겠습니다.
Oh, guys, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's one Korean remaining, and
Barely,
Yeah.
by the way.
and if my math serves me correctly, that means 3 non-Koreans.
Good maths, Tasteless. Clearly, you have graduated from multiple subjects in college.
I'm quite the scholar, my friend.
Indeed.
So, guys, we're not done. I know we've been started since 3. What is it? It's 8:45 now. We still got 2 more best of 5s to go. Elazer versus Neeb, Poland versus USA, and then Serral versus Classic, Finland versus South Korea.
That's right. No one goes home till we have our grand finalists. That's the way the semifinals work. Elazer Neeb's going to be really fun here. Serral Classic apparently is going to be a pretty close match as well. We're hearing talk from a lot of the pro gamers that some of them feel like Classic actually might be a pretty big frightening opponent for Serral.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be.
Well, he's such an aggressive Protoss, right? So that's something that Serral can have trouble against.
Looked good though against Rep. I think he looked really good. Even if he was in a little bit of trouble from time to time, the way that he handled certain situations. That King's Cove game, you just sit there like, oh my goodness, what am I watching?
Guys, I think we're gonna go to a quick 10-minute break, but when we come back, we're gonna continue on into the semifinals. So do not go away. We'll be right back.
In the service of iron. Fire will be restored. We must not hesitate. We must act.